Alright, it's Friday. I'm going out to site number 1. This is my fourth, fifth placement there. I had a tree stand. I had a set up right by the bend of the creek. I went by some logs on the other side. Now I'm about 20 yards off the grass bedding area for this morning. Don't really care for doing it setting up off the bedding area, but there's just so many ways for them to go. There's no real pinch point, except in the evening there's like 3 paths they come in. But in the morning, there's no real set course. So I'm hoping they leave out the southeast end today. Let's see what we get.
So I pull up to the field, and I can see at the end of the bedding area where I was going to set up, there was a tent already put up from the guy who's going to be hunting shotgun later on when that season opens up. So I have to change plans. I still have a wind in my favor in that spot, so I was going to go to a tree line right along the edge of a water area. And to go there, I was going the long way around. And as I was going the long way around the pond, the deer had been apparently spooked out of that high bedding grass to the other side of the pond. So when I was going around to get behind them, I actually bumped them. That's when I had an opportunity for a shot. Looking back at it, and you won't hear this in the commentary of my video, but looking back at it, the deer must have been about 50 yards away instead of 40. 40 was at the end of my range, and a shot I believed I could make. And I think I would have made it had it been 40 yards, but it was 50, so my arrow was off. I ended up watching that buck, which was either the 8 or the 10 pointer I saw earlier in the season, go around, and I watched him. And you'll see a video of me kind of following him around and pointing him out with my arrow. And that's where this first clip ends. So here's me after that first shot at that 8 to 10 pointer as I point him out and stalk him.
Okay, right around here. There's one standing. There's another one right around here. I believe I got a hit, but I couldn't quite see by the way it ran off. But I see 2 of them there. I'm kind of circling around way outside. I don't want to pressure him in case I hit him. So I want him to just lay down. One of those is my buck. Hopefully a well-struck buck that should be lying down and sleeping very shortly. Right up by the left side of this edge, I think is where my buck has wandered off to now. I'm keeping an eye on him from a distance. He's at least 300 yards away. I really cannot tell right now if I hit him.
So after realizing that I did not hit the 8 to 10 pointer earlier in the day and that there was nothing in the bedding area, I went ahead and decided I was going to kind of creep along a tree line on the would have been the west side of the property. And there's a bunch of trees, pine trees, about 4 to 6 feet tall. Some are actually newer, so they're only about 2 feet where they died in years previous. But I'm walking along this tree line, and that's where I saw a rub earlier in the season. I have a picture of that rub I'll show you as well in this video. But I was walking along that line, and lo and behold, in the distance I see a what I believe to be at the time a doe trotting towards me. So I get real low and duck behind the tree. As it's coming up closer, it stops, and honestly, I can't remember about how far away it was, but it stops because it maybe senses me or sees me in some way. So it stares me down for a bit, and once it considers me not a threat, and meanwhile I'm spending about 10 minutes crumpled over in a very uncomfortable position, it starts to move on, and it moves into the side between the tall corn that's still kind of standing and where I am, and I end up having to kind of slowly creep along the ground about 5 yards so I can get a shot. I slowly stand and draw the bow back, only to realize I've got corn stalks that are going to be in my way now, so I have to take a half step to the right very painfully slowly. and the deer turns its head to look at me, and I have a broadside shot, so I take it and strike it right behind the shoulder blade, mid of the body, and that's where I follow the blood trail, and you'll see the pictures in the video into that point now. What I'm looking at here is my blood trail. Nice and thick, a lot of blood. I see it splashing up. There's a little creek right over here, and I saw it bounce, so I'm going to give it a little bit more time just to lay down. But that's a nice, thick blood trail. Hit the deer right by the edge of the standing dead crop. And it's just thick blood. I should have no problem finding her. Well, let's just wait patiently. Which is probably the hardest part now. Wow, I feel just a rush. Okay, I shot her right over here. That's probably maybe 20 yards away, 40, 60, maybe 70 yards away. She's just right there. I came up with her a lot quicker than I thought I would, so I'm just going to hold tight here for a second. Thought I'd have to go at least over the creek, and probably the creek's what made her stop and second guess if she could get up or not. I think I actually hear some other deer crossing the creek. I see one moving. Actually, I got a second tag. I'm turning this off. After I found the deer that I had struck laying down, I realized that there was something moving on the other side of the creek, and I believe what I saw move through the tree line was another deer. And although my likelihood of getting close enough to have a shot on another deer this day was relatively low, I thought the deer I hit wasn't going anywhere, so I'd give it a go. I proceeded to spend the next 30 minutes just kind of walking that line on the other side of the creek along the wood line, and I, of course, did not see anything. It disappeared as soon as it saw me. Well, this is what I believe to be a doe, but when I look at the head, that's about from front about an inch and a half, maybe a half inch in the back, maybe a little bit more. There's just a microscopic horn. I couldn't see through the hair. I just figured its hair was roughed up a bit. But I was about to cut around the bung, pull it out to tie it off, and when I opened up the legs, I noticed parts that you wouldn't find on a doe there. And yeah, I thought I was shooting a doe. I thought it was a pretty good sized doe, but in fact, it turns out it's just a really young buck. It has doesn't even have what you'd call the I can't even think of it right now because I'm just kind of at a loss because I've been telling people that I shot a doe, but in fact it's a buck. It's a antlerless buck. Well, better get to cleaning. I want to take a moment to thank you for watching, and I've got a couple more videos of hunting days out there. This was my harvest day. I was pretty pleased with it. I also have a video of me processing this venison. I have actually a series of 3 videos. I recommend you check that out. Thanks for watching. Bye.